Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining and watching. I am your host today, James Cowan. Some of you have watched these before, but if you haven't, you will know, well, just to let you know, these videos, of course, are to give you a great highlight, a quick overview of some of our top partner institutions around the world so that you can get a great quick snapshot of the program, who you can be actually talking to and make partnerships with on the team, and get you excited and more educated about the main programs and how to work with these programs selling to your students. So today we have a great pleasure to have Matt here, Matt Jonah from St. John's Academy, which is located in Vancouver Island. Okay, just off, of course, Vancouver, the coast of Vancouver. And Matt is the Director of International Admissions and Marketing. So he will be your person that you would reach out to if you have any questions and for formulating partnerships together. So Matt, really happy to have you here today and excited to learn a little bit more.
Thanks, James. It's great to be here.
Awesome. I think really to start off, let's give a quick introduction to all the agents about who you are personally, a little bit of background perhaps on your maybe experience in the industry. Let's go from there.
Yeah, thank you. So I have 23 years of experience in the industry, 20 plus of that within admissions. I've done a little bit of work in the marketing side and in advancement, fundraising, things such as that. 10 years were at the university level of admissions, and then 10 years or 10 plus years with private schools, ranging from in Ontario to British Columbia. I've worked in IB programs, international baccalaureate schools. I've worked in advanced placement programs. So I've worked with kids in admissions from as young as grade 4 all the way to 4th year of university.
That's yeah, quite the quite the experience. You have all the major grades covered. That's great. Now let's jump in a little bit about St. John's Academy. Of course, this is a private boarding school, right, on Shawnigan Lake. Tell us a little bit about what are the main attractions, the unique selling points perhaps that agents can know to get quickly educated and get excited about your programs.
Definitely. Well, first off, we're in Canada. We're on the west coast of Canada in British Columbia, close to Vancouver, close to Victoria, which is the capital city, is 40 minutes away. And I think often we need to start working with families to decide, do you want to be in Canada? Do you want to be in the US? Do you want to be in Australia? Helping to kind of start with that big picture of a country. And then once you start figuring that out, then do you want to be at a big school? Do you want to be at a small school? Do you want to be in a city? Do you want to be in a smaller rural area? So we're a small school of 150 Canadian students and 40 boarding students from 10 countries. So if a student wants to be somewhere where they're really well known, where it's very safe, where it's very comfortable, they get a lot of opportunity to use their English, to practice their English, to be outdoors, to do hiking and skiing and snowboarding and paddleboarding and surfing, all of those things. We're a perfect school for that. So we've got the IB program, so we have a really strong level of academics, but we also have this incredible outdoor education program. And we're really looking for students who want to be part of a Canadian community and have a great boarding experience and live with students from around the world and get to know the Canadian students really well and create this great sense of community.
Amazing. And so a lot of agents watching this video, I'm sure, may or may not already work with private boarding schools. They may have a lot of focus, perhaps selling language programs or even higher ed or whatever. But for those that want to have a little bit more information on what is that main kind of difference when selling those different types of education, and what should they know about working with privates, boarding schools? What are the contracts looking like, etc.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a really important difference. And I think it is a distinct difference in the relationship between working with a university and a high school, language schools. Generally, you'll find it's much easier to build a relationship with somebody working at a high school. We're working with a much smaller number of partners, but we're a lot more interested in the quality of student and building a relationship with the agent and the family. It's more about It's not quantity, it's the quality of the student and the family and the relationship. And it's a longer process. Often you're going to be working with a family for, 6 months, 8 months, to a year to really help them decide where they want to go, get them in, get the visa, all of those things. So there's a lot more hand holding, typically with working with a family for high school than there is for a language program or university. But the benefit is, you're doing something really great because you're helping them at a young age to really have this incredible experience in their life, and you're walking them through that and helping them with that and helping the family with that. But there's also a really strong commission structure working with the independent schools. So for example, for my school, St. John's Academy, we do a 15% commission for the first year and 5% for the second year. And on average, you're looking at about $55,000 to $58,000 for a year. So that's 15% of almost $60,000. So it's a pretty big payoff for that investment. And then of course the other benefit is, if everything goes well, that family will then might work with you for a summer program or for additional language programs or for university in the future. So it's kind of extending the sales pipeline for agents, but it does take a real commitment. It takes a lot more patience, takes a lot more relationship building, and it's really about getting to know the family and working with them closely, as opposed to just kind of saying, here's some universities to look at. It's you work with them a lot more through the process typically.
Amazing. So yeah, when they start to actually enroll these students in these types of programs, they could be looking at commissions, for maybe 9,000 for the first year and 3 or 4,000 for the next year. But like you said, there's also that long-term perspective, working with the student, guiding them through the next, level of education, so their university placements, etc. And so that can be a really long-term working relationship with that family, and the referrals that come from them. Amazing. Now, you mentioned a little bit about an ideal student. Maybe you can touch a little bit more on what that might look like, so agents might have a better idea of looking out for who might be a good fit for your type of programs.
Yeah, definitely. So I've worked in 5 different schools, and so I understand that each school is different and each student kind of has a different character of what they're looking for. But also at the end of the day, we're all still schools. So of course, we're looking for students that can handle the academic program, and the academics are really important. So it's important for the agents to really understand how competitive is the school and how difficult is the admissions process. But generally for St. John's, we're looking for students that are somewhat adventuresome, because we have such a great outdoor education program. We're on this beautiful lake. We have a mountain right behind us. So we want students who really want to get to know the Canadian kids and be active with them. So they want to go, mountain biking on the weekend with some of the other Canadian kids, or they want to go paddleboarding on the lake and, with their new international friends. So we're really looking for students who are kind, who are academic, and who have a bit of a sense of adventure. They don't have to have a lot of experience in the outdoors, but they have to be open to it, because you're not going to be in a big city. You're going to be on a beautiful lake with a mountain behind you, and we want students who are going to take advantage of that and have a lot of fun, and really push themselves to use their English and to make friends with the other Canadian students, because I work really hard for the Canadian students we recruit to make sure that they want to make friends from other countries, and that they're really excited about meeting people from other countries. So we also want those international students who are coming to also be just as excited, because then you have this really strong connection. And we all know with teenagers, if they have good friends and they're happy, they're going to be doing really well as students. If they're isolated, if they're lonely, if they're not making connections, then they can struggle, even if they're really smart. So you really want to find that kind of chemistry of the right fit, the right school, and the right student, because then good things happen.
I think those are such amazing points. If memories are so important in that experience, and having good memories with friends, and unique things that you've never done before, skiing or mountain biking or water skiing, these types of things, just completely add to that experience, and the happiness of that student, and the satisfaction, of course. That's great. What I think also might be important to now chat about is So if an agency wants to now, start a partnership with you, an agreement with you, what are sort of the talk a little bit about the support that you offer to them. So are they completely on their own trying to, educate the parents and students about this? Are you there to help guide them? Are you there to help join these calls with them and take them through that cycle, which is, of course, could be a lot longer than most other programs to actually close? Talk a little about that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a partnership, and that's the goal. A good agent for me is worth their weight in gold, and so I'm willing to really invest a lot in that partnership, because that's what it's all about in our industry. But we have to kind of know what the problems are and have open lines of communication so that we can work with the family, work with the students, know what their concerns are. And also not every school is right for every student. And so that's part of my job in admissions, is to be able to say, hey, you know what, you're a great student, but I'm not sure we're the right school for you. You'd probably do better at this other school. And so we help to educate the agents in that process as well, so they really get a sense of who would thrive at our school, because that's what we want. The family's paying a lot of money, it's a big risk. We want to make sure that they're happy, and if the parents are happy and the students happy, then the agent's going to be happy. We'll all get referrals from their friends, and that's so it's really about that strong partnership. So they just need to reach out. They need to not be afraid to ask questions, and to not be afraid to ask hard questions either. Like I really love it when agents kind of say, like, okay, you say the same things every other school, like what's wrong with your school, or what are the things that you wish you could do differently about your school, or what are some things that students don't like about your school? That's okay to ask those hard questions. This is usually one of the biggest investments a family is making in their life, so you really want to ask hard questions, and so working with an agent can really help the family feel more comfortable and help the school to feel more comfortable and to have that strong partnership.
Amazing. Yeah, well, this is perfect. I think again, if we come back to the point of these quick school corners, is to kind of get a quick snapshot about where you're located, what are the main programs you're offering, what is the experience you're offering to the students, how do agencies work with you, what is that process they can expect, and commercial aspect as well. But we also want to leave some room for agents to now reach back out to you personally if they have any questions, follow up, and kind of go one-to-one. They can schedule a one-to-one call with you and continue these conversations. So I think we've covered a lot of that. Are there any other last points that you might want to mention before we kind of wrap it up here, Matt?
No, just that the more communication, the better. The more open, the better. And of course, come and visit if you can. We're happy to invest in that partnership. So I've had agents who've been in Vancouver for conferences, and we've flown them over on a private seaplane, and it flies over the mountains and over the ocean, and they see whales, and it's beautiful, and it lands right on the lake right in front of the school, and they get to come and do a tour of the school. I can arrange, for them to see 5 other schools within a day, and they could see some public schools, they could see some private schools, they could check out some universities, because the more they know about my area and my school, and some of the competition, the better. We're all trying to be experts in our field. So come and see the school and meet us and network, so that you really can speak with a strong voice to the parents and say, I was at the school, I met the teachers, I met the head of school, I talked to Matt. You can trust this institution, because it's a huge decision to send a young child from Mexico or Nigeria or China or wherever it might be, to Canada. And so of course the parents want to build some trust and make sure that it's a good place. So if the agent has visited the campus or has a long-standing relationship, you're going to be a lot more successful.
Yeah, and I would very highly encourage any agent to talk to Matt about that opportunity, because to visit the school will, it's extremely impressive. The location, Vancouver Island itself is, I think, one of the most beautiful places on earth, and I'm only a few hours away. One day, don't worry, one day I'll be moving there. But yes, please go and visit the campus, visit, Vancouver Island, get a great experience to come back to your students and share with them. Amazing. So Matt, to the very last thing here. So if they want to follow up with you, if they want to get connected, of course they should first get connected on Edvisor. And then what would be that next step? Just follow up with you personally, arrange maybe a Zoom call. What would you recommend?
Yeah, Zoom calls are great and a really nice way to build that relationship. And then, of course, if they're going to any conferences like ISEF or Alfie or WEBA or whatever, there's lots of options out there to let us know when we can meet at some of those locations. Sometimes we're traveling and going in country, and we might be coming to your country and could do in-office meetings with you then. And of course, if you're in Canada, let us know, and we'd be happy to bring you out to see the school. But just being open and connecting on WhatsApp or WeChat or any of those things, most of us are really comfortable doing that, and happy to have open lines of communication, and Edvisor is a great way to facilitate that as well.
Perfect. Matt, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for having or for joining.
It was my pleasure. Thanks, James. And I look forward to working with more agents on the platform. If anybody has questions or just want to ask for advice or know more about the difference of what's the difference of a boarding school compared to a public school with the homestay program, for example, or those types of things, or what are the differences between schools in Canada and the US, because those are all really important, and we all have perspective, and I'm happy to share whatever I can.
Perfect. Amazing. Matt, thanks again. You have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.